Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Pulse here on the Joy News channel. Now, it's that time of the year again, and the rains will soon come our way in leaps and bounds. Now, how prepared are we for possible flooding situation?
Very sure. So we are telling the government that they should come and solve this problem before things get worse.
We delve deeper into this particular matter. Also, this afternoon, palm oil processing companies in Ghana are sounding the alarm bells of possible collapse due to the influx of several brands of cooking oils into the country.
And I'm afraid that the way things are going now, if the intervention doesn't get heightened, the value chain will be overrun by the imports. And it's not just imports, but the imports that evade taxes and duties.
In the Ashanti region, it's a clash between FDA task force and business owners said to be selling unapproved cooking oil brands on the Ghanaian market as a regulators clampdown intensifies. Now, also coming up, Planting for Food and Jobs 2.0 in full rollout as the Agri Ministry launches the program with the start of farmer registration process, which is currently underway. Now, these and more here on The Pulse. I am Samuel Kojo Brace. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. The Pulse, always, is brought to you by Global Communities Dignilu, affordable, safe sanitation for all. This is live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and also on myjoyonline.com for these and more. Do stay with us for details of these stories. Now, in a few weeks, the rains will set in, and with its attendant problems of perennial flooding in the capital and other parts of the country. This afternoon, we want to set the tone for the conversation on the country's preparedness to combat flooding during the rains. We'll have stakeholders in the sanitation sector, the Ministry of Works and Housing, and the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, joining us for this conversation. But first, let's take you back to last year's raining season, where floodwaters caused some havoc in parts of the country.
So this is the situation here on the main Flautama Road in front of the Bell Aqua Bottling Company, where you can see the flood actually impeding the movement of vehicles here. According to some of the motorists I have been speaking with, they're telling me for 5 good hours they've been in this traffic without any movement.
5 hours now in the traffic. Too much.
It starts about 2 hours now. It starts in the morning shower. But up to now, all the gutters choke. Because of that, the cars can never move very well. And people are helping the car motors, so that everything will go side and side.
Almost, it started around 8 that way when it started raining. So since it started raining, then the flooding is oncoming. Now, those going to work and go stuff, they are finding it difficult to go. So the guys over here are helping them in such a way that the cars can pass through the flooding distance to the work, and it's very, very serious. Very, very serious. So we are telling the government that they should come and solve this problem before things get worse.
Due to the rain, we cannot cross the bridge, so we need to reverse. So we return to use this route. And still there is a traffic here, and this traffic too, it is caused by the same rain at Belakwa. So the rain there has caused the flood, and the flood is leading us this way.
It's very bad. The traffic is very bad. You can't go. You have to stop about 30 minutes before you move. Yeah, so I managed more than 1 hour before I got here, and here to now I can't do anything. I have to go back.
I work at Unilever, but then I'm supposed to be at work around 8 o'clock. But then because of this, I'm still stuck here and I'm not able to go. So it needs to be done for us. So it's just a plea, because this is a main route we use to wherever we go. People from 25, people from Bediako, they all switch over here to go to their various work.
Reporting from Belakwa here at Pombaria in the Pong Katamanso municipality. My name is Carlos Caloni for Joy News.
Well, let's now settle for the conversation on this. Here with me in studio is the Director of Communications at the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, George A.C. George, thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to be in your studios.
Great. Now, also joining us via Zoom for this conversation is Manasseh Atabuahin, Ministry of Works and Housing, and also Ernest Morgan Aqua, who is Public Relations and Corporate Communications at Zoomline Ghana Limited. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us as well. Let me start with you. Now, I mean, we saw what happened last year. What have we really done from that point till now that should tell us that, well, probably we'll be able to do better than last year?
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon to you, your production crew, and our viewers. Once my brother Manasseh Atabuahin is on the line, I believe he will be touching more what's the major works that the Ministry of Works and Housing is doing, and then the Hydrological Authority are doing to help reduce the incidence of flooding and co. On our part, we work in tandem with the assemblies to ensure that there's continuous dredging and desilting, and then community sensitization and engagement to create the needed awareness that we are getting into the rainy season and flooding, which has become part of us, inevitable, even though government is making efforts to reduce it via the Garrett project, which I believe Manasseh will be talking much on. And so that is what we are doing. NADMO sensitization, partnership with Assembly to do the silting and dredging, and then get people in readiness for the rainy season.
Last year, you did something like a hotspot and safe havens.
Yes.
How successful was that, and what sort of lessons did that teach you so that this year probably you could do better than you did last year?
No, the safe haven is still part of our program because these are identified places that people can reach out to for their safety in the incidents of flooding, especially those living in the flood-prone areas, like our people in Sahara, like our people in Glefe, like the people in the Circle and Enclaves and co. And so the safe haven is still a part of our program for this year. And going forward, you know, we're trying to expand to other places across the country. The Director General is discharged all our district and regional directors to ensure that we create as many safe havens as possible and then engage the people to be aware of the existence of this safe haven so that they can access it. Because there are some times when the flooding gets serious, that's when people begin to attempt to move. And most times, some of them are swept away by the rainwaters and the floodwaters. And so we try to get access routes that they can use, which are less dangerous than the ones that otherwise they would have used, so that their safety will be assured and guaranteed. And the engagement also with the issue of electricity and raining times, you know, especially for those in flood areas. We're still sensitizing them to be, that awareness to be there, that the moment the rains begin to come in, you switch off your electrical gadgets and then move away from there. Because that's part electrocution. Fortunately, last year, electrocution wasn't pronounced in the incidences that we had. But a year before that, we had electrocution cases and co. So the sensitization and engagement is working.
Okay, all right. Let me go to Atabuahin here. So the Ministry for Works and Housing has the, I'm sure, the majority stake here in terms of how we are prepared for the rainy season. What have we been able to do since last year till now? Atabuahin, if you can unmute so we can follow what you're telling us, I'll be happy. Okay, we'll work the lines and get Atabuahin on the line again because we want to understand what government has been able to do. I mean, last Friday it rained a bit, Thursday, I think it rained a bit in Accra. And if you look at, I mean, what we saw, it sort of tells you that, well, probably there's much more work to. Yeah, exactly. Because what I saw, I was like, wow.
Outdoor dredging is ongoing.
Well, but Thursday, when there was this.
Yes, a lot of storm drains are being worked on by the Ministry of Works and Housing. The Minister for Works and Housing did site inspections over the weekend, last Saturday. So that's why I wanted to defer to Manasseh to speak to that one. Okay. So once he comes online, I believe he will get into
Okay,
that.
so we have him now.
Yes.
We have him now. Let me go to Manasseh Taboahe. Manasseh, I'm grateful for joining us here. We want to understand what the Ministry of Works and Housing has been able to do from last year's rainy season till this point. That should tell us that, well, this year we may probably be able to manage the aftermath of the rains than we did last year.
Yes, a very good afternoon to you, and a very good afternoon to Mr. George AC, and to our cherished viewers as well. And indeed, the rainy seasons are already with us, and what government is doing is to ensure that we are able to build enough buffers to keep us prepared for the rainy season. And so just last Saturday, the Minister for Works and Housing and his team embarked on a working tour to inspect the various drainage works across the Greater Accra region. And our first stop was at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle, where we inspected the dredging of the Odo River Basin. And the contractor was on site. Dredge Masters is the contractor on site, and they informed us that they had been on site for the past 2 weeks, and they've been dredging the 10-kilometer river basin to ensure that we're able to keep up to speed to the rains that we are expecting. And so we are very much prepared for the rainy season. And beyond the Odo River Basin, the Greater Accra Resilience and Integrated Development Project, which is the GARI project, is also embarking on various community development projects across the Greater Accra region. And so the minister also took time to inspect some of the projects being undertaken by the GARI, and one of which has been implemented at the Alobushi. And over there's a storm drain which is being built. And he also inspected a storm drain that is being built at Iron City in Kaswa. And also across the Waja-Kaswa Highway, you would realize that every now and then when it rains, you would find sand dripping down from the mountains or the hills. And it stretches to the main road, which creates discomfort. Sometimes it even makes it difficult for people to commute from Waja and Kaswa even to Accra. And so the Ghana Hydrological Authority, being sponsored by the government of Ghana, is building a storm drain and a catch pit, which is to ensure that when the sand drips down from the mountainous areas, the sand will be stopped to allow the rains or the water to flow through the storm drain. And so government is very much prepared to ensure that we are able to put in much drainage works to ensure that in the huge rains we expect in the coming days, we're able to prepare ourselves to ensure that we do not record high incidence of flooding in the coming days as well.
Well, there's something we do here annually when the rains are about to set in, that, we are dredging the storm drains, we're doing this to ensure that, but then the rains will set in and would report on the problems that the rains, or the rain is causing. So really, how different is this work that you're doing this year from last year, such that, the destruction we saw last year would not be recorded this year? That's really what we want to understand. How different is it? What the approach that government is using, how different is it from last year's?
Right. So the difference is that one, government is committing more resources to ensure that contractors do not face any financial constraint to ensure they're able to work on the dredging and even on the storm drains that they are building. And two, the Ministry of Works and Housing is also ensuring that they are able to sign a memorandum of understanding with the various assemblies within which the storm drains are being built, to ensure that the assemblies will take ownership of the various storm drains that are being built. Most often than not, you would find people throwing rubbish into the various drains, and that's how come most of our drains are choked, and which of course prevents the water from flowing when we have heavy rains. And so the ministry is keen in ensuring that very soon we would have some memorandum of understanding being signed between the ministry to allow the various assemblies to take ownership. And even if there need be, they would have to even set up some kind of task force to ensure that people who are caught throwing rubbish into the various storm drains would have to be brought to book to ensure that we have reduced incidence of people flooding our various drains with rubbish, to ensure the waters are able to have some free flow.
But do we need MOUs for that? Because already the assemblies themselves have bylaws that takes care of some of these things. So are we saying we need to sign MOUs to ensure that the assemblies do something that they already know they should be doing?
Yes, the assemblies have bylaws, but over the years, the trajectory has been that every now and then we record high incidence of flooding across the country. And you would realize that whenever they are flooding, you would know that there will be a lot of debris and even rubbish, sometimes deliberate throwing of rubbish into our storm drains. And that has been the pattern over the years. And so we believe that beyond the bylaws that the various assemblies have, it will be important for the ministry to have some kind of memorandum of understanding with the various assemblies to ensure that we bring some high-level seriousness and some kind of monitoring to the various dredges to ensure that we do not record high incidence of flooding. And again, the maintenance of the various storm drains would have to be in the care of the various assemblies to ensure that once the government or the ministry comes in to build storm drains across the various flood-prone areas, the assembly and even the community leadership will then have to take full ownership of the storm drains to ensure that they are able to educate their people and also to stop certain unwarranted behavior that would lead to excessive flooding.
Well, but as you alluded to, I mean, even the implementation of the bylaws is a challenge. How then do you trust that, an MOU that you sign with them will probably get them to do what you expect them to do? And that will lead to us not recording the sort of, distraction that we recorded last year when the rains set in.
I mean, the MOU, of course, would come with some kind of particular stipulations to ensure that the assembly, of course, will set up a task force and will also pay key attention in ensuring that, one, they are able to monitor and maintain the storm drains. I mean, when you go to certain communities across the country, you would find this vigilante group who are able to keep watch of the various communities to ensure that even at night, once people are sleeping, they have people patrolling the various communities to bring to a stop activities of unscrupulous people. And so we believe that once we have this memorandum of understanding with the various assemblies, and once they commit to ensuring that they are able to maintain the various storm drains, and also they're able to ensure that they have people who will be manning as the need be the various storm drains, we believe it would create some kind of improvement in the usual pattern where there are bylaws, and of course we do not see any significant changes as it relates to people throwing rubbish in our various storm drains.
I'll come back to you because I really want to be convinced about this strategy that government is adopting. Let me bring in Ernest Morgan here. He is the corporate communications manager for the Zoom Lion, and but so for you, and I know that dredge masters, as our colleague mentioned, they are the ones dredging the Odo. But can you share with us, I mean, strategically, what you do see is happening now and how that will affect us to, going into the rainy season? Whether or not you think we are the right part to ensure that things do not go way wire, I think that's the right word here, compared to what happened last year.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the earlier speakers have mentioned some of the problems and how we are tackling the problems to resolve flooding this year. And from my side, I think we've gone a bit higher than what happened last year in respect of the quantum of waste that we collect from the municipals, and also pushing that individual households get bin so that we pick up the waste directly from their households. You know what? Water will definitely find its way. So most people, especially in Accra, when it is raining, that is the time that they pour in garbage. Okay. And the moment they pour in garbage, even when there are good drains, it will be blocked. And the moment they are blocked, it will find its way. Dredging has been done several times. We are still doing dredging. When you look at Paloma, recently, the bigger drain, Nima Gata, I don't know whether you saw it. Yeah. It was full of garbage. That place has been desilted more than 5 times. You understand? But when you see the garbage in there, you ask yourself, how did it get in there? And the moment the gutter is for the water, but we have placed waste into the gutter, so definitely there will be flooding. So what we are saying this time is that there should be more enforcement. We should ensure that people are punished. Well, if we play with these things, sorry I'm sounding this way, but if we play with it, we'll get back to ground zero. And I see waste management and this flooding thing as a national security issue. I see it as a national security issue. So the security agencies should all be part of this. When people are dumping indiscriminately, we should punish them.
Okay.
The assemblies have the power to ensure that we do what is right. Even for us service providers, if we need to do something and it is not done, the assemblies are there. They should be strong enough to check all of us that we are on the right path. But when we leave it, it would rain. And when it rains, water will find its way. One other serious challenge that we are having now is the influx of Aboboya. Most of them are doing well. They pick the garbage and they send it to the right places. But we have so many, because they are not managed, let me put it that way, most of them pick the waste from, let me say, the frontage of your house. They go and dump it behind your house. It will rain and the rain will bring it back to the frontage or block the way. Most Aboboya, when you see the motorway, they dump at night, they just go and dump anywhere. So we need to have a way of managing all these things. These are the basic things that when we do, I think we would have a good place to stay. But if we don't manage these things well, it comes back to hit us all. And we go back to the same narrative and we are all shouting when there is small rain. We need the rain so that crops can grow. So we cannot pray that it doesn't rain. But when it rains and we are getting problems like these, we all have to worry.
So if I understand you, yes, even though we are dredging the lagoon, we are evacuating waste, but if we don't change our attitude, we'll still be at the same level, and we'll see the sort of distractions we saw, right?
Definitely.
So which means that the assemblies, like you said, they have to punish people. But how do we really do it? Because over the years we've said that, the assemblies have bylaws. They have to ensure that they implement or enforce the bylaws to the letter. But that has not been done. So how do we do it? How do we achieve that? How do we ensure that the assemblies are able to enforce the bylaws? How do we even, get to arrest corporate? See that this person is throwing waste into this gutter, and so we should go after this person.
So it is, and sometimes you media people, you have been doing well. I should commend you for what you have been doing, but we need more of such. There are some of the issues that we have to just publish it as it is. Okay. There are people, I remember last year, somewhere in Jamestown, there was a footage on social media, a man just throwing garbage when it was raining. Honorable Henry Cote, then he was then the regional minister for Greater Accra, ensured that that man was sent to court and he was punished. It happened just last year. And we have people in the communities that people just pile up waste, and those in the community, they know them. The assembly, they have the environmental health officers. The Saman people are there. They go into the communities. In Accra, it is about time that even the assemblies should tell us the number of households and those who have bins, and those who are giving their bins to accredited waste collectors. So if everybody produces waste, so when I come to your house and you don't have a bin in your house, the first question is, how do you dispose your waste? Are you burning it or you are just throwing it? You could see people riding on push vehicles along the motorway and they are just throwing plastics that they tie from their houses.
Okay.
We should start from somewhere. Environmental health officers are there. I'm not trying to blame anybody, but they are there and we should all come together and make sure that this thing works. Not, we will push in money, we will do the dredging, we will do the waste collection, we will do everything that we are doing, but we'll come back to the same thing. We need to change our attitude going forward.
All right, George, that brings me to you, because that has to do with public sensitization. That if we don't change, we will pump in all the money we have to, but we'll still be back to ground zero. How are we tackling that?
Yeah, attitude is important, and the assemblies have been doing very well on that score. I said 2 years ago, the AMA sent about 200 or so people to court and they were punished. But to be honest, it's like it wasn't too deterrent enough. People took it as part of it. And so we should continue to enforce the rules. As I said, the sanitation officers or the environmental and hygiene officers are there, and they need to work in partnership with us to get the sensitization going on. Our district officers, our regional officers are all, working to achieve the same objective. So the attitudinal change is important, and that is by engaging them. And so if we do that, then the people begin to understand that when it happens, you are the ultimate sufferer. You get it? When the rains come, when the floods come, they come to destroy your own properties. So
we've done this over the years. We haven't succeeded. What should we do?
We don't need to give up. Secondly, could you? We know the engineering. That's why I'm excited about the garage project, as said by Manasseh. And that is very important. There's a deliberate government policy, the National Flood Control Program, and government is committing 450 million to it. The Greater Accra region has about 17 contiguous districts that are directly beneficiaries of this. And that is why the minister has started going around to assure that the districts are using the money for the purpose for which, so the dredging and the silting will go on simultaneously. You get it? And it ought to be continuous, because the Zoom Lion corporate affairs man said, when the floods come, they carry, sand with it. So they silt and then the waste and cool. But the sand, drop as they go along, as the velocity reduces. And so then they begin to fill up or cover the drains. You get it? So you need to do continuous scooping, okay? And that is very important. Sometimes the assembly will tell you they don't have the money to do it. And so you, the media, you are confronted with this. And even us, sometimes we also have those complaints. But now that there's financing committed for this purpose, you wouldn't have that excuse. Another exciting
but 450 million, can you
yes, it's a beginning. The garage project actually is about $200 million. And so this is a good beginning. You get it? And we've spoken about this for 3 years. Now there's commitment to it. And so that's what my excitement is. And secondly, you and I travel the Kasua Wager Cape Coast Takoradi Road. It's been a problem. One time I came from Cape Coast at dawn to Accra. I got to Accra at dawn. And I got almost stuck. So I thought I was driving on a different road. You get it? It was the Wager Kasua Road. And I said, Then I got to understand the, when it rains, the mud, the sand that is scooped onto
from the hilltop.
Yes, the Honorable Sylvester Tete has actually been working at this and cool. And so now that, there's a company that is doing some work along that stretch. There's storm drains and then catchment pits or something that Manasseh spoke about. These are things that will help us to stop some of these challenges. When it happens like that, the traffic on that road comes, and I know you've taken your cameras there and you've made commentaries. That is what assures me that this year is going to be a bit different. Okay, with the commitment of the district assemblies, government resources, and the follow-ups with the MOUs that Manasseh spoke about. MOUs with the contractors and the assemblies is very important. Okay, and the ministry. So the ministry can hold the gavel over your head.
Really?
What is happening?
Between MOU and bylaws, which one is powerful? Because even the bylaws, they are not able to enforce
the bylaws are to catch the offenders and co. And the MOUs, the assemblies and the contractors, have you done your part? If there's agreement that there should be continuous scooping of the drains, are you doing it? Assembly should ensure that that is done. If it's not done, the housing ministry then comes at the assembly that, come on, you are not keeping to your part of the bargain because government has released the resources for you to do the work. You get it? It means somebody is sleeping.
But when it comes to
roll our sleeves and get to work.
When it comes to enforcing the law,
yes,
somebody has been paid to do that work.
Yes.
So when people are not enforcing
that's what I told you about bylaws, 200 people from AMA alone. Just
but AMA. I mean, when you said that, I was going to ask you
17.
No, but I was going to ask you that if you have taken 200 people to court,
yes,
and you still have the sort of dumping that we saw. I mean, Manasseh mentioned it. This is like I saw it last week or so.
Yes. Yes.
It means that it's not enough, because if AMA will only send 200 people, it should be more. They are not able to do it. So we are paying people to do the work they are not able to do. And we have to change it. I don't know how we can. Is it that we have to bring in technology to probably monitor who and who is able to do what around what time?
Yeah, the human aspect, that's why the Zoom Lion man touched on that. There's a task force that works at night. You know, if that is so, I'm not aware of that. If the assemblies are committed to doing that, that's very important, because you know that people pile their refuse and go, and when it rains, then they dump into it and, you know, let it go. Forget it that it's going to get stuck somewhere to block the flow of the water. You get it? And then we become the ultimate sufferers. And so, yes, that is one aspect. If we can have task forces, that will be, you know, looking at that. Yes, he said it's a national security issue. If it is, and the security agencies will support the assemblies to be able to enforce these laws, the better for all of us.
Okay.
Besides that, the commitment of the funds, the assembly doing their work, and then the construction of the storm drains, they are very vital. You know, you remember once upon a time, Alajo was a bad news. Now it's becoming a bit bad, but for 10 years or more, it's abated. You get it? It's now that, so if we have more storm drains, it's going to abate or reduce the incidents. The structure, the engineering, when you showed the video, a lot of houses were submerged underwater. You saw it. It's because of the, you know, built areas and the fact that most places were wetlands which have been filled and taken over. And so the water definitely will find its level. So the structural engineering of Accra is something that we need to look at. And I was excited Garrett was going to do that. But this time we're managing it. But if we take the full structural real engineering of Accra, that is what will give us the respite.
Well, Manasseh, you see, I mean, what I'm seeing on the television is so strange. Look at people's house, their properties are stuck and what have you. And if we say that one major thing is people dumping rubbish into gutters, that means that is one of our major challenges.
Yes, it is.
Now, if we have to leave it to human beings alone, it will be difficult. Why not adopt the strategy like the police have done, that they have mounted cameras all over, that they're able to sit in Accra and tell that someone is flouting the traffic rules in, say, Apollo in Takrady? Is this something the ministry is considering?
Right. So indeed, flooding issues are national security issues. And what government seeks to do is to ensure that we are able to adopt measures that would serve as deterrent enough to prevent people from dumping refuse into our various storm drains or drainage systems. And so today, the Ghana Police Service, of course, has various cameras fixed in various parts of the country. And the ministry is, of course, considering efforts to ensure that we are able to monitor, even from afar off, people who are still in this habit of dumping refuse into our various, storm drains, etc. And so that is not out of what the ministry is considering. And what we seek to do is to ensure that we are able to educate Ghanaians in order to ensure that people who are into the habit will have to stop that. And of course, if these habits do persist, then we would have to implement some more stringent measures. And we believe now is that to have this memorandum of understanding between the ministry and the contractors, and of course the various assemblies and even community leaders, we are confident that we would be able to bring the situation to the barest minimum. And the issue of cameras monitoring what people do, especially at night and even at dawn, is not ruled out. And the ministry, of course, is considering. And we are confident able to have reduced of people dumping refuse to our various drains.
Are you considering mounting your own cameras, or you're going to use that of the police service?
Right. So we would have several engagements with the Ghana Police Service. This is something we are considering. And if we are to mount our own cameras, that of course would come at a huge cost to the state. So we would have some broader stakeholder engagement with the Ghana Police Service, and if they would allow us, we will be able to use this. Otherwise, we would find ways of ensuring that we are able to monitor. The assemblies are able to monitor what goes on, especially at night during places where we have our various drains, to ensure that we are able to bring to bear people who are into this habit. And we believe that once we are able to catch people on video and we are able to reprimand them, that would serve as deterrent enough to prevent people from engaging in this habit as well.
Okay, so finally, we're, from you, with the construction of these storm drains, where are we in terms of completion? Because we are in March, Which is bad. I mean, you even introduced yourself by saying that the rains have caught up with us. So where are we in terms of completing these storm drains?
Right. So across the country, there are various storm drain projects that are being undertaken. For some, we are even done. When you come to Race Junction and in other parts of the country, we are done with the storm drains. Some have culverts that are covering it. Others too, for example, when you go to Iron City in Castle, we are about 80% through, and those storm drains do have bridges across to enable people to move from one side of the storm drain to the other. Others too are far advanced. And what government is doing is to ensure that we are able to provide the contractors with all the financial resources they need, so that they'll be able to expedite works on the various storm drains they are building, because the rains are already here with us. And so there is no time to waste at all. And we are confident that for those that are still under construction in the few days, we'll be able to complete them to ensure that we are prepared enough to reduce the incidence of flooding across the country.
If you say a few days, today is 13th of March, I think.
It is true.
When are you expecting that these contractors will be done? Because after March, we just have the rains.
Exactly. The point I'm making is that for the contractors, what they need is financial resources. And for example, on Saturday, we went to Alobushi. And the concern was that the contractors, of course, were willing to work even at night. But those living around the areas were complaining about some kind of noise pollution. And so as we speak, we've had several stakeholder engagements with the community to ensure that they're able to bear with the noise that will be created by the contractors, to allow them to even work at night to complete the storm drain that they are building right on time. And so what government wants to ensure is to declare that when it comes to resources, contractors are not cash trapped, so that they'll be able to speed up the works that they are doing. And where the contractors are finding some kind of challenges as it relates to those living around where these projects are ongoing, we are engaging in some kind of high-level engagement with the people around, so that they'll be able to bear with the little discomfort they would have to go through to ensure that the storm drains are built to arrest or to mitigate the incidence of flooding as we expect in the coming days.
All right, so it means that if care is not taken, we may not finish some of the storm drains before the rain's coming. I'm grateful to you. But let me go to Zoom Lion and then pick your final word. So what will be your advice to government as to what needs to be done now to ensure that we don't record what we recorded last year?
Okay. Let me change your question a little bit.
Okay.
You want me to talk about what government will do. Let me say what we are doing as a private entity to help mitigate this. So Zoomline as a company, we have, for the Aboboya people, I mentioned that they dump indiscriminately. So with government, we have created transfer stations, advantage points. Now we have one at Ashaman working now, Pantine. We have one there, then Malam, just to make the turnaround time to be short, so that they can't sludge the waste anywhere. So we have transfer stations around, and also we have integrated recycling and compost plants. That's across the country. In every region, we have such plants there, so that we can turn the waste into something meaningful. And we just also created a new company called Namako, that's Material Recovery Company. All that they will do is that they are going to go out for these plastics. Because when we put value, we believe that when we put value on the plastics, we are not going to see them as we see them on the street. So now we are even going to buy the plastics from the individuals, and we are going to use it to do something good for the city. You know that the bins that Zoomline used to distribute, we produce them ourselves in here. It's one of our companies. So that's what we want to do. Yes, do plastic chairs, buckets, and other things out of the things that we call waste. That is causing problem for us, so that at least it would help the economy.
Thank you.
In a way.
Thank you. I'm grateful that you could join us on this conversation. All the best to you. Let's see how this goes. Well, George.
Yeah.
So your final words. I mean, yes, final words, and then probably I don't know if you have added on to the safe havens now.
Yes, this is a continuous program. I told you the Director General has tasked all our district directors and the regional directors to ensure that we create them in flood-prone areas. And so, yes, we are adding on, and we'll continue to add on as the years go by. Okay. There's this issue of technology. You asked Manasseh, and yes, depend on the police one. NADMO has also got some, we have an emergency operations center, at the headquarters. And we've created over 20 districts and about 10 regions, having it. And so we're working in partnership with one of the UN agencies, the World Food Program, to ensure that we have technologically driven solutions to some of our problems. From the UOC, sometimes we can monitor some strategic flood-prone areas in Accra, okay, and the regions also.
And what do you monitor?
You see the rate of rise of the flooding, so that we then sensitize the people to move. It's time to move, and those things. You get it. So those are some of the things we do. And so those things that once we are able to roll it out, we'll be able to help monitor some of these refuse disposals and co around the clock, and we'll be able to bring it down. So that's something that we pray World Food Program will continue to work in partnership with the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Communications. We hope in no time it will begin to bear fruits.
Okay, all right, George.
Let's all be part of the solution.
Of this, okay.
Yes.
All right then. George AC is the comms manager for the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. There. Well, this is still the pulse on the Joy News channel. We'll take, so now to other stories now. Policy think tank, Imani Center for Energy and Education, and Professor Kwesi have filed a suit at the Supreme Court challenging the constitutionality of the removal of some members of the public services, including the IGP and the other security agency heads from office by President. Now, the two contend that such termination of the appointment of the IGP, the Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, the Chief Fire Officer, and the Director General of the Prison Service by the President are unconstitutional and should be declared as void. Now, joining us now is Franklin Kujo, who is founding President and Chief Executive of the Imani Center for Policy and Education. Franklin joins us via Zoom. Franklin, why is this necessary now?
Good afternoon, Kojo. This is actually Profi, part of the Imani team. Franklin is not available.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Right. I can.
Sure, right. So the basis of our rate lies within the context of Article 191. When you look at Article 191, it gives certain protections for public officers. Now, protection against victimization, and then against discrimination as well, so far as they are discharging their duties faithfully in accordance with the Constitution, so that they cannot be dismissed or removed from office or deranked, lowered in terms of rank prior to their retirement. Now, we have witnessed along the years, and you bear witness with us, that there has been some trend of precedents in different tenures, either replacing the public office holders or removing such prior to replacing them with other individuals. We know fairly well how the appointments go, that the president, in consultation with the Council of State, will make such an appointment. And the very functioning of these individuals is also at the direction of either, for example, the police service or the police council, or the prison service council. What we are not quite sure about, or what hasn't come to the limelight, is the procedures for the removal. The Constitution itself states quite clearly that there should be some just cause prior to the removal of these public officials, either proving stated misconduct of these individuals, or the fact that they have misbehaved and it has been established legally that they have misbehaved, or that they are experiencing what we call the incapacity to perform their functions, either through the infirmity of the mind or body, retirement, or death, or resignation. So these are the listed causes that the Constitution states. But when you look at the examples that we've shown, whether it's Mr. Emmanuel Ajato, who used to be the DG of the prison service, he was removed in 2017 When you look at the example of the former IGP Peter Nanfuri, and then you look at, in 2009, another IGP, Patrick Kwating Echampong, you would realize that all these individuals were removed either during the tenure of the president or when the president comes into power. Now, we believe that, and sometimes without any reason being provided at all, we believe that this is a trend that is not really advised or supervised by the Constitution. The Constitution clearly states how these individuals should be removed, and that is not what we are following. So by this rate, we hope to, entrench the very fact that the Constitution specifically has procedures in removing these public officials, so that we avoid, the expediency that we experience either by political or by personal liking to one individual or the other. That people get to that office and then they are removed prior to their retirement, their death, or their resignation. So that's the context to the writ that we filed at the Supreme Court.
But is it a case that Imani is speaking some information that we are not aware of, and that's why you think this is the right time for you to go to court on this?
No. I mean, any time is the right time to test the law. That's what we feel. We are enriching the jurisprudence of the very function of the Constitution in our legal framework, and also our political framework as well. We've chosen to do this because we feel that it's important. The time is not really of any essence at all, and we do not have any information as to what is impending. Once the Supreme Court agrees with us, you would also probably agree with us that this is also going to help in the security of tenure of these very important individuals, and it would make them not kowtow to some political dictates. They will be free to work as a very public service is supposed to be free to work, and then we can, move forward as a country.
What if the court disagree with you?
Well, that's a possibility. In the wisdom of the court, if they do disagree with us, I mean, obviously, we are going to respect that decision. But we believe clearly that the arguments that we have put forward are very cogent. The arguments that seem to, highlight the very letter and spirit of the Constitution. And then when we come to that, bridge, I'm sure we will cross that.
All right, let me bring in, a senior vice president of Imani, who is also a lawyer, Mr. Kofi Bento, to help us. I mean, he's your colleague as well. Mr. Bento, I'm grateful for joining us. You're a lawyer, so how do you see this turning out in court, looking at what the Constitution says about the powers of the president in appointing someone, and now because Imani thinks that there's a bit of a silence on how the appointment can be terminated, you're going to court to challenge it. How can this play out in court? All right. Let's see how it goes. But there's an interesting issue here. To wrap up with you, you expect that this will probably go your way, and then it gives direction as to how these appointments can be terminated. So after that, what next?
Well, so I guess that question is meant for me.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We are going to continue as a think tank to, highlight on very, very salient issues which we believe we are not following in terms of the dictates of the Constitution. What next is that there will be, like I said, guarantee of tenure for these important public offices, and we'll continue to work hard and look within our laws to find out if we need the Supreme Court's interpretation to invoke articles that are relevant to their interpretation as we move along.
Sometimes we do see that people will bring together scholars to try and, so after testing the case in court, are there other indications of probably bringing scholars together to have a round table on how this can be done, probably to then recommend some sort of amendment to that provision in the Constitution?
Yeah, so I mean, Imani always works like in a three-stem manner. We do a lot of research. We also do consultative dialogues as well, and then we try to influence policy as well. That's a wonderful idea. We are thinking through what will happen next. Now we're just focused on what will happen at the Supreme Court. I believe there has to be some sensitization afterwards, which we are very, very happy to pursue.
But let's bring in Amprofi Ajiman here. He's a research analyst with Imani Africa. Let's get his thought also on this particular matter. Amprofi, grateful to you for joining us, sir. So yes, you're going to court to challenge that the appointment and disappointment by the president. Appointment you're not challenging, but you're challenging the disappointment. Why is that the case now?
Could you, sorry, this is Amprofi. I've been talking to you. I think you may probably have gotten the names wrong. Like I mentioned, we are very, very much inspired by identifying some of the, arguable loopholes in our public space, and this is one of the issues that we had been thinking through over the last couple of months, which we feel is important to test our laws on. So, like I did mention, we are very, very expectant that the Supreme Court would agree with us, and we respect the wisdom of the Supreme Court if they do not. But what is it's essential, and what this effort has proven is that persons which are recognized by the law have the capacity to test the law if they feel that it's not consistent with what the Constitution dictates, and that is what we are pursuing in this matter.
I'm grateful to you. Let's see how this matter goes, because this is quite an interesting one. We'll see how this goes in court. Grateful to you for joining us, sir.
Thank you. So,
Amprofi Ajiman is research associate with Imani Africa. This is still The Pulse. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Now, this afternoon, palm oil processing companies in Ghana are sounding the alarm bells of possible collapse due to the influx of several brands of cooking oil into the country. According to them, they have already started feeling the pinch since a lot of their crude palm oil are sitting in their tanks without evacuation because the refinery are not processing the CPOs due to the presence of foreign oils on the Ghanaian market. Speaking exclusively to Joy News, the general manager of the Benso Oil Palm Plantation, Bob Samuel Avala, described the situation as dire.
The oil palm value chain is a very significant value chain which contributes to the economy. From the oil palm, we get mainly palm oil and kernel oil. And the palm oil and kernel oil goes into soap making, it goes into largely cooking oil, and the favorite fritol and all of that. There's hardly any home in Ghana where they don't use cooking oil or they don't use soaps and detergents and stuff like that. So, so what we see, because we're a free trade economy, people import this cooking oil finished. So it means that the factories where they were produced employed the citizens of that country. So they come here creating little or no employment. All is trading. And yet, they evade duties, they don't pay their taxes, and then it creates an unfair competition for the local producers. And the local producers pay the taxes, we employ thousands of people, we do CSR projects like this. So it is imperative that government gives focused attention to protecting local value chains like the palm oil value chain. And I'm afraid that the way things are going now, if the intervention doesn't get heightened, the value chain will be overrun by the imports. And it's not just imports, but the imports that evade taxes and duties and appear to be selling cheaper. And in actual fact, it's not cheaper.
So are some of you grinding to a halt because of this?
Oh yes, we are very close to that. But we know that government is listening we have engaged, and through your medium too, we believe that it will go further. We believe that we are not going to go down, but we are at a risk of it, and something has to be done, and very quickly.
How dire is it now? I mean, now
I would say it is dire. It is dire. You only need to go to the market and look and see different brands. The other leg that I don't want to talk about is whether these go through food and transport approvals or something. That one is another ball game in terms of health and nutrition. But I'm now talking about the commercial and business case for both Ghana and the companies. Okay.
Samuel Avala is General Manager of the Benso Oil Palm Plantation Board. Now let's take you to Kumasi, where there is sort of a clash with the officials of FDA who are ensuring that some cooking oils that are on the Ghanaian market that have not been approved by the FDA are clamped down upon. But traders are also fighting back because they claim that the FDA cannot do what it is doing. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku has been with the team and our reports.
The task force combed retail shops in the central business district of Kumasi for unlicensed and smuggled vegetable cooking oil products. The armed men moved from one retailing shop to another and seized products worth millions of Ghana cedis, including Global, Diana's, Special and Roach vegetable cooking oils. At least 4 brands were confiscated by the task force. The task force claimed to be executing the joint mandate of the Food and Drugs Authority, Customs Division, Tree Crops Development Authority, and the National Security. Dr. Paul Amenin is the coordinator of the task force.
You call PZ market. You call you who sell product be your friend Roach. Roach product no. You have 2 brands, Baku free Malaysia, Baku su free Indonesia. Ni free Malaysia and you register, ni free Indonesia and you register. But the same brand.
When we visited the market, we realized there is a clone of one of the cooking brands known as Roach. It is originally produced in Malaysia, but the clone is from Indonesia, which is not licensed. Oils are used for various products, so we are concerned about the type of oil this is. But the Ashanti Business Owners Association is distraught and unhappy with the development. A member of the group, Oseya Koto, says at least 20 gallons of the products were seized at his shop.
Unless I provide duty paper. And he may enter me some torn. May I buy a torn will be ho, I import her. And I'm afraid important. Say, oh, you know,
I contacted the person I imported the goods from to send me his import duties receipt, which he did. But the task force went ahead to seize the oils. This is what baffles me.
It was sent a brand was up na medical medical almost debida. And ya don't bet us yet. Oh, you know, almost easy. Oh, you know.
The group says their confirmation from the Regional Coordinating Council could not ascertain the identity of the task force. Charles Kusi-Apiakubi is the Executive Secretary of the association.
So we placed a call at the Regional Coordinating Council through the Director and to the Minister. And the feedback we had from the Minister suggests that he has no aware of such people having such operation in the market space. These men were angered because the regional minister intervened in the situation. And they told us that they will show us where power lies. Who are supposed to man our borders? The national security, the immigration, the SEFs. How do small goods get into our market? This suggests to us that they are not doing their work well. If you are not doing your work well, Why do you want to criminalize that innocent businessman who is doing his right thing as a citizen?
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Bright Quickly.
Joining us now is a leader of that task force and a member, the board member for the Tree Crop Development Authority. Also, an executive of the artisanal oil palm producers, Ghana, Paul Ameni. Dr. Paul Ameni, I'm grateful for joining us. I mean, like the people said, they are importing oils into the country through the rightful procedures. Why is that a problem such that you have to set up a task force to go clamp them down?
Thank you very much. Yes, we set up the task force based on the directives of Cabinet through Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Agri. The task force is mandated to oil that you are selling. They pay the right duty. So you are saying, like my president said, which is Mr. Avala, we, the Oil Palm Development Association of Ghana, make a case to Cabinet, and they took that decision. We are ensuring that those decisions of Cabinet are fully implemented. So we started the program somewhere in November. We have done Greater Accra, we've done Tema, Shamai. So we are heading towards Ashanti. Currently, as we are speaking, I'm at Techimai. I went to Techimai, I'm at Sunyani. We are here to make sure that whatever the directive was given is fully implemented to the ladder. So we are not intimidating any customer. Our goal in the market is, one, create public awareness about food safety, create public awareness about those who are not paying their duties. So we go in with the media to also make sure that the public know about whatever happened. Like what you said in Kumasi, we find out that there's a particular brand called Roach, which has a registration from Malaysia. But the product there in the market, it's not registered in their system because it's from Indonesia. So we called the owner, we went to the shop, the warehouse, and we found out that he has close to 1,072 plus gallons sitting in the warehouse. So what we did was to call in FDA to do their job. No one in Kumasi market, apart from that guy who spoke, that we took only 20 gallons of global something brand, which that one too was not registered in FDA system. Okay. So we told the man that, yes, you have it, but it's not registered. Let's have the customs duty pay. And if FDA is also saying that the product is not registered, then you need to follow the protocols of FDA to ensure that the product that you are selling is of good quality and the public can also be secured of wholesome goods. So I don't know why they are saying that we came to the market to harass anybody. We did it not. We did not. Please.
Okay. But you are doing this not to check the wholesomeness of a product. You are doing this because you say you are facing imminent shutdowns, isn't it? Why should importation of oils be a problem to local oil processing companies?
Come again, the question again.
I'm saying that your task force is not checking the wholesomeness or unwholesomeness of product, right? You are doing this because, according to your members, your companies are facing possible shutdowns because of these importations. And I'm asking, why should importation of cooking oils be a problem for local palm oil processing companies, really?
Please let me correct. Yes, we are doing it for purpose of those who are not paying duties. Okay. But when we entered the market with the media, then the media saw that some of those oil that they are selling has not been registered, which FDA came in, that they are also interested to join us so that they can also check those that they smuggle that has not been registered. So that's why they are joining us. Our focus was mainly on duty payment, those who have not paid duty, who are smuggling the oil through the borders, but FDA has interest in it.
Okay.
So please, and it's also affecting our members. You know, they are selling unwholesome brands in the market, which is very cheap. Definitely, they won't go for the one which is okay. And nobody in Ghana, nobody cares when someone is selling something wrong. And we also, with FDA as partners, through TCDA, we think we need to make sure that the right thing is done so that we can also sell in the same market. We need fair competition for the local producers.
Really, to get everybody to appreciate what we're talking about, how are your companies suffering from some of these importations?
One, they are not buying our product because of price. The price of the product of those that has not been duties has not been paid is very cheap. So definitely, when the two brands is there, because of unfair competition, they can sell, we can sell. So from there, you can see that the value chain is affected. All the tank farms of all the big companies, Top, Bob, GOPDC, Walmart, they are all full. Nobody's buying. Go to the market, Sunyani, from Greater Accra all the way to Techiman to Sunyani. You can't even find 10% of the local products in the market, which tells you that the farmer is affected, the processor is affected, the millers are affected, and it's very, very dark. If we don't take care, over 800,000 people who earn a living on this product will all not be, they will all not have work to do. So it's very serious matter that we need to make sure that we are able to stop this smuggling in the market. My brother, you can't do what is happening here anywhere in this world. Can you take vegetable oil from Ghana, go to Malaysia and sell when you don't pay duty? It's not possible. So I don't know why they are entertaining that in our market. We need their consent. We want to have a partnership with the traders so that we can resolve that matter amicably, because it's affecting their brothers. It's affecting their relatives who are farmers, who are processors down the drain.
I mean, we heard that some of your companies are on the verge of saying that enough is enough. How true is that? I mean, to even shut down and send workers off. We are told some of them, as we speak currently, are virtually not producing.
It's true, because when you produce, where are you going to sell? You don't have that volume of storage capacity to stock all the oil. And look, we are in the main season. This is the time that they can process a lot and sell. And this is the time that the Malaysia and Indonesia smuggle oil are in the system. So definitely they can sell. So all their tank farms are all full. Go to Kede, go to Himai, go to Benso. You see the farm, all fruits are rotting on the streets because they can't sell. When they process, who is buying? And they don't have the tank farms to also stock the oil. So please, it's very deep down there. If you don't take it within the next 1 month, all the companies will shut down, and 800,000 Ghanaians will be affected.
Wow, that's a serious matter then. But as we speak, no company has shut down, right?
Yeah, but we are getting there. If we don't, like, if this exercise fails, let's see what happens in Ghana. It's a serious matter, my brother. We need to make sure that this exercise is sustained. The government come in to support, because we can't, if 800,000 directly are benefiting, let's see the other people who are dependent on those 800,000 people. You can't compare to that trader who is selling 1 gallon, making millions of cedis on a bottle of gallon that he's selling. What about the farmer? Let's think about them.
Okay.
Let's think about them.
Now, finally, before I let you go, you realize one of the complaints they had in that video from Kumasi was that they called the coordinating council and they said they don't know anything about your task force. How does your task force operate?
Okay, thank you. The task force is, I'm the coordinator. I'm coordinating 4 institutions: National Security, FDA, Customs, and TCDA. The association is somehow part of it because I'm a member of the association. What we do is any region we go,
we try to go and see this head, the departmental head or these agencies. So when we went to Ashanti region, we went to see the national security coordinator and told him that, okay, we have his men, we are here to do ABCD. We went to FDA, we also informed him. We went to customs. I even called him before I went there. So I had discussion with them on phone that we are coming. And all of a sudden, these things happen. Please, we are using the protocols as assigned by the directives.
Okay. All right. And this has the backing of the cabinet, you say?
It's a cabinet directives. And those agencies are mentioned are in charge. And we don't want any political influence on these decisions, else we will fail.
Okay. All right. Grateful to you, Dr. Amani, for joining us here. He is
Thank you.
The coordinator of the task force to clamp down on non-tax-paying oil, cooking oil brands on the Ghanaian market. This is still the pause. To other stories now. In 2 days, the world would celebrate World Kidney Day, a day set aside globally to raise awareness on the kidney and kidney-related diseases. Ahead of the World Kidney Day, we have we'll be joined in studio by Evans Akwabwa, who is a nurse at the dialysis unit of Cape Coast Teaching Hospital. Fred Nyaka as well will be joining for us to have a short discussion. So stay on. We'll bring you that discussion after this break. Welcome back from the break. Now, in 2 days, the world would celebrate World Kidney Day, a day set aside globally to raise awareness on the kidney and kidney-related diseases. Now, ahead of the World Kidney Day, we have in studio Evans Akwabwa, who is a nurse at the dialysis unit of the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, and Thomas Khan. He is a kidney patient, and Thomas has been with us for more than a decade now. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon.
For me, let me start with you, because look, I was there when we started to raise this fund for you. This is over a decade ago.
Yeah.
How is life for someone like you? I mean, living with a kidney-related problem.
Yeah, I think that first of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity, but I would say that it's been very tough, and there are times you want to give up. But thank God, through it all, it's been grace. And again, I've been through the process where I've tried to psych myself to live it. There are so many people who are not able to live with the disease. Because once you are told that you have this kind of condition, you just want to give up. But thankfully, I had some kind of psychological therapy from the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, the psychologists and then the doctors there. I think they've done a good job not leaving the staff at the renal unit out, because they try to, psych all of us up to, have that kind of positive mind to fight the disease.
Okay. Yeah. If you say sometimes you want to give up, what does that mean? You want to give up in terms of what?
Yeah, there are so many factors. When you are diagnosed with kidney disease, the cost is a serious matter. The cost of, treatment, that is the dialysis, plus the medication, plus the periodic labs that you have to do. Sometimes when we talk about this issue, we limit it to just the dialysis, but there are other accompanying stuff or things that you need to do to add to the dialysis, and that's even skyrockets the cost. So it's not an easy thing.
So if you say you want to give up, you want to stop treatment.
There are times psychologically, like you just get tired of everything. You get tired of life. Like you're like, to what end? And then how things are going, it will make you kind of drain you. And we live in an environment where you go, machines for dialysis is a problem. And there are times you have to give up based on, you have to go to the hospital early because the machines are not enough. there are more patients. You get to the hospital, there are times you need to sacrifice your sleep and everything. You can't work like you want to do. So these are the little things. And that's one of the things that is even killing people more than the disease itself. Because there are times you want to, live life, but because of the condition you have yourself, you can't. You get it. Like I said, you go to the hospital, the machines are not enough. For instance, the Cape Coast Teaching Hospital, as I speak now, has only, I would say, 4.5 machines. And there are more than 50 patients.
Every day?
Every day, like they're scheduled in the days. So you go and then, let's say, as we are 3 here, you go and then just one person comes before you. You have to wait 4 hours to get to your turn because the process itself takes 4 hours. So 4 hours waiting, and then you also go on the machine for 4 hours. That is 8 hours. And before you even get the 8 hours, you would have sacrificed your sleep to get to the hospital. So it's not easy. It's really mentally draining.
You are a nurse there. So why should government care? Right, you're speaking to government directly. I want you to speak to them. Yes. You are there. You meet them every day. Maybe people in government are not there. Let's understand why government should care.
In a Western world, provisions for patients that have kidney issues or kidney failure are made to the extent that even the health workers chase the patients to dialyze them because there are machines available. We've had instances when we've met patients who travel here and then they would want to come and have a session at our place because it's a lifetime something and you can't go away with it. Every week you have to dialyze. So they come and then when they tell us what is there and then what is here, when we compare, we see that we are far, 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 far behind. The thing is expensive. An individual cannot support themselves, no matter how rich you are. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, mostly 5, 6, you would give up. You would run out of cash. And then you will need to solicit for funds. Your families, they will try their best at the beginning, but when it's getting tougher, they will also give up. So it is only the government who could actually help the people, because the people themselves are the government. So the money is somewhere. If it is not released to the people, they can't benefit. You will die off. And then our labor, the people are the labor of the country. So if we are dying one after the other, it will come a time that there would be no people to even work to produce what the government even have now.
So Thomas, what do you want government to do? I mean, earlier, before we came on, you were talking about something that government needs to do. What do you want them to do?
Well, I think that for quite a number of years, we've been doing this advocacy. I would say that somewhere in other parts of the continent, here in Africa, some people have been able to do it.
Okay.
Tanzania, I can say, and then South Africa and all of that. Over there, what I know is that they have systems. Their health insurance is able to cover a terminal disease like dialysis. So I think that here, Ghana can also do it, and Ghana is capable of doing it. We've been making these calls for quite some time. And here we think that with the health insurance system, if it is even difficult for government, what government can do is to just try and remove the taxes or reduce the taxes on the consumables that is used for dialysis. Because that is what really puts the price on that high level. So for instance, we know that consumables are not made here or manufactured here in Ghana. They are imported. So if whoever is going to bring the consumables goes to the port and these are the prices that he's being charged at the port, or
the duties,
exactly, the duty and all of that, and the taxes on it, definitely the price will go up. So we've been pleading with government, and we still continue to plead that if government can do something about it, they should just remove the taxes or reduce the taxes. That's, I think that the prices will come down and it will save a lot of lives. Because, Kojo, to tell you the truth, a lot of people are dying not because of the disease, sometimes just the thought about the cost of dialysis alone, that kills people faster than that.
Okay.
Remember, recently there was this story about this little girl who was from a village around Chifupraso, who died, Priscilla, may her soul rest in peace.
Yeah.
A lot of
we told the story here.
Exactly. A lot of the patients, that is the problem they find themselves in. So if government is going to do that, I think that will kind of minimize the pressure on every patient and even the various hospitals.
Since you started, what has government been saying?
We will come and we'll do something about it. But it's just been rhetorics. We've not seen any action. You know, I have been on dialysis for some time, 11 years.
Yeah, for over a decade.
Yes.
Yeah.
11 years. And it's been the same rhetorics. And I would say that not just this government, but previous government, there were talks about doing something about it. We didn't see it. This government has also come, nothing.
Okay.
And I remember we had this talk here where the government advised on health, Dr.
Yes, here in the studio.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that they were going to do something, but till now
they haven't done it.
I remember they said we have up to the quarter of the year, and then we are in March, so we are still pleading with government to do something about it. Sometimes we limit the conversation to just Kolebu. What happened in Kolebu was just an eye-opener. But this is a national crisis that all other hospitals should be brought to the table so that we see how we can resolve it.
Okay. All right. Gentlemen, I'm grateful to you. I hope that this day that we're going to celebrate, I mean, something will change.
Yeah.
But just 30 seconds for you. What do you want to leave
Okay.
there?
So what I want to tell the people is that, you know, before you get the condition, you have a chance.
Okay.
It is better to prevent than to treat.
Okay.
Because when you get the condition, the only option for you is the renal replacement therapy.
How do you?
Or you do transplants.
Okay.
Which we cannot afford.
How do you prevent it?
So our daily lifestyles.
Okay.
Alcohol, let's do away with it. Smoking, let's do away with it. Let's live a healthy lifestyle. Exercise, fruits and vegetables. Let's eat them. So there is one thing we should also know: regular checkups.
Okay. All right.
Okay, just before we go, talking about prevention, this whole week, on Thursday, there's going to be a free screening if you are in Cape Coast or Central Region. Come to the Kobna Jan Square in Elmina, just to come and test, because you will never know if you have the disease or not.
You don't. Okay.
Yes.
All right then. Thank you very much, Thomas Khan, and thank you too for coming. All the best to you. Well, now the Joy FM Eastern Camp Adventure clock is ticking. Tick-tock. It's just 4 days to the event scheduled to take place on the 16th and 17th March. Buying a ticket for just 1,500 cedis guarantees you unforgettable memories. Among others, the adventure includes a trip to Konfanoche's hometown, the Asenema Waterfalls, jungle party, German night with cocktail, barbecue, plus more. Joy FM's programs manager, Adam Naite, says plans are beyond advanced. Michael Agbagba was at the campsite and our reports.
The countdown is on and the Joy FM Eastern Camp Adventure clock is ticking real fast. Tick tock. Have you bought your ticket yet to be part of this fun? Now remember that by just paying 1,500 Ghana cedis, you have the opportunity to experience the trip to Okomfanoche's hometown, Ewukugwa. We're also going to go to the Asenema Waterfalls, where our patrons who have the opportunity to take a dip in a waterfall if they want to experience that. There's a lot also going to happen here, right here at this campsite, where there will be a movie night, there will be a jungle party with DJs on rotation, traditional music, local music. There will be a lot to drink. There will be cocktail, there will be palm wine, there will be barbecue. There'll be a lot of games, a whole lot of exciting activities that'll be taking place right here at the campsite. At the end of the day, all you get to experience and relive what it was like in the olden days when we used to bring out our mat and then sleep outside. You're going to sleep in tent, going to experience that. Now, if you're tired, after all the dancing, the eating, and all the excitement, you can jump into the mobile pool that will be available right here at our campsite. There's a lot to see and there's a lot to also experience. We're lucky to have with us here Programs Manager for Joy FM, Adam Naite. I hear that plans are beyond advanced. You know, she's going to share details of that with us right now. Adam, welcome to Joy News.
Thank you very much, Maxwell. Great. So I am personally looking forward to sleeping in the tent because I haven't done that before.
Me too.
So this gives me the opportunity to do that. Yeah. And when we move, we'll be going to the Asinema waterfalls. We'll go to Ewukugwa, and then we will come to our campsite. Yeah. Where all the fun is going to happen. You know, we have a mobile pool. Yeah.
I had DJs on rotation, playing local music.
The jungle party is going to happen. It's going to be fun. I'm also looking forward to the by the fireside. Want to sit around and tell our favorite Kukwanansi stories, you know. And yeah, lots of board games as well and other things. So it's going to be fun, and it'll be very relaxing. And then when we are done from here, on the 17th, we will go hiking in the morning and then come back for breakfast. After breakfast, we can now check out, and then we will spend the day at the Safari Valley Eco Park. And then we'll have lunch there. I mean, we're going to
and a safari
nature,
also.
The animals, you know, nature and everything, take pictures and, you know, have a whole day there, have lunch, and then, you know, when sunset, we come back to Accra and come back to reality.
The people who are purchasing the tickets for the Eastern Camp Adventure coming from diverse backgrounds. This is your opportunity to network with people, you know, from the corporate world, people with different backgrounds, you know, and all of that. You need to come on this Eastern Camp Adventure. And right now, I have with us our tour guide, the man who will be taking us on all the tours, the man whose name suggests. Chilling. What's up, my brother?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Can you walk us through, tell us what we'll be doing on the 16th and the 17th of March?
Okay, so on the 16th, the bus will move from Accra Mall straight to Ewukugwa to see where Okofanochi was born, the house. Yes, so we will all go to, but you know, most people don't.
You know, the perception is Okofanochi was born in the Ashanti region, right?
No, he was born at Ewukugwa.
Ewukugwa, that's in the eastern region.
The eastern region, yes, in the eastern region. So from Ewukugwa, the team also moves to Asinema waterfalls because there are lots of waterfalls in the Kwapin Ridge. Okay. And Asinema is one of them. Okay. So we can't come to eastern region and not go to Asinema to see the nature, beautiful nature, the falls, and those who want to, enjoy the fresh water can go in and swim
and take a dip.
Yes, yes. And from there, we'll come to the campsite where we are now. There will be welcome drinks. That is local drinks, fresh palm wine.
Palmy.
Yes, fresh.
That's a botanical name for palm wine.
All right, so let's have more on this particular, Eastern Camp Adventure with Kofi Hayford. Kofi, cordial.
Good.
But I'm not sure a lot of people know you can speak in Zuma like that.
Oh, well, I can speak in Zuma. I'm proud in Zuma. I'm fancy in Zuma, so
exactly, proper combination.
You know.
Anyway, this would be a great day, huh?
It would be, and I was just saying to myself, I think Adam has said everything that needs to be said on the Eastern Camp Adventure. But this is brilliant for me. One of the things that I'm looking forward to, you might probably laugh over it, but it's the palmy. The palm wine and the barbecue night, right? Yeah. So, let's not even kid ourselves. Listeners of Joy FM have known this for a fact that when we talk about adventure, it's something that we do a lot. We've embarked on trips to, the Volta region, to the Western region. We've done Accra, and this time we're saying that we're going to the Eastern region, and we're pitching camp in Ebri, one of the most serene places in Ghana.
It's a beautiful place.
It's a very beautiful place. I mean, if you take out the fact that you have a very nice, aerial view, scenery of Accra when you're on top of the mountain, there are so many other reasons why you really need to be there. So I am thinking if there are 2 days and 1 night that you have to spend in Ebri with all these things that we've put together, the barbecue, the visit to Ewukugwa. I have been there before. It's a very interesting place to be, to learn a lot about Okomfanochi. And then the visit to Asinema waterfalls. I'm sure a lot of people probably don't even know there is this the waterfalls in Asinema. And so it's really a place to be. If you haven't joined this particular trip,
you have to do it now.
You have to do it now because I'm actually here for one reason, and that reason is that 2 buses have already been filled up.
Okay.
Yesterday, I announced on Joy FM that we've just started taking entries for the 3rd bus. But whether, I don't know if to say it's fortunate or unfortunate, but we're closing it today.
Hey.
So you have between now and 10 p.m. to register.
Wow.
Yes, it's going for only 1,500 Ghana cedis, and it takes care of your transportation, you know, to all these places, the access to tourist sites, full board. I mean, everything. Your meals. You heard Adam talk about the lunch at Safari Valley Eco Park and all that. Just 1,500 Ghana cedis. So between now and 10 p.m., please, if you want to, let me look in the camera and tell them, if you want to experience this lifetime sweetness, then please make sure that you, pay via Momo to 059-303-8842. 059-303-8842. The name on the account is Daniel Boyfield Multimedia Group, or you can just use the ticket short code *714*003#. Yeah. That's basically it.
Wow,
it's this weekend,
and yeah, exactly. And you see, the area itself is a whole vibe on its own.
I think that even a trip to Abri itself is
yeah. I went there like 2 weeks ago. There's so many places I didn't know. The Kwashi Memorial Hospital. The
Kuku Park, the little way you actually did the first.
And even when you are climbing the mountains itself, the Palmi is lined up all along.
I was telling them that I wish the bus could take the lead so that we can start walking. But yeah, it is what it is.
Anyway,
so the Eastern, Camp Adventure is happening this weekend, 16th and 17th.
It will be interesting this weekend. So you need to be part of it if you haven't already bought your ticket, because look, Mami in Zinjao. That's what it is. The American,
it's okay.
Okay. All right. So this has been Kofi. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
And this is Ghana Month, really.
Yeah.
So it wasn't by you spoke in Zima.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Okay.
Except that you didn't let me represent my dad, the fancy. But in I can fancy.
Yeah, I can fancy. I didn't hear the
so happy Ghana Month to all.
Yeah. All right. So Ghana Month in Timaya Kadi say I say the joy news. Namomi. But more modern and never hand die neighbor 2,000 will cry. Na make waba. Bolusumaya busy bondoko. Brofre. Yeah, brofre the real cracker. But 2,000 in the left. The account. You can't die the come kind. I can find the account. Zamadi come on my honey. So happy Ghana Month to all of you. Thank you for joining us. This has been the pause. On behalf of the production team, please, thank you for joining. We'll meet again, God willing, some other time.